Hey, it's Dr. Story. We see a lot of patients with conditions called chronic tendonitis or also tendonosis. It really depends on what the doctor is calling it. It's the same thing. These are conditions where people get rotator cuff problems, they get Achilles tendon problems, the bottom of the foot called plantar fasciitis, people get runner's knees. You can get tendonosis or chronic tendonitis in the back of the hamstring, either in the bottom of the hamstring or the top of the hamstring. It's called high hamstring tendinosis. You can also get this in the elbow. People will call it tendonitis or tennis elbow, but it's really more of a tendinosis of the tendons of the elbow. We have a three-pronged treatment protocol for this that works awesome. The first is to make sure there's no abnormal strain or stress on the tendon itself at the joint. So very often the first thing we look at is the actual joint mechanics of how the joints are functioning around that tendon. You cannot, absolutely not heal a tendon if there's abnormal stress on it with a joint problem or a joint dysfunction that surrounds that tendon. So we do adjustments to restore normal motion to the joints. The second thing we do are teach patients how to do eccentric contractions, and you can simply Google this. There's a tremendous amount of research on eccentric contractions. And just eccentric contractions themselves, the research has shown anywhere between a 60 to 90% success rate just with doing those. The only challenge with doing those is it can take anywhere between minimum of 3 to 6 months of doing those exercises before you get those results. I have personally found in my experience that when you combine the joint adjustments, the eccentric contractions, and the third thing I'm going to tell you about, you get a much faster resolution of these problems. So that third thing, what I was going to say is that if we are able to use Graston technique on the tendons themselves, or any type of manual myofascial treatment during motion, these are able to very often stimulate the tendons to recover much quicker. It actually helps rebuild the tendons, it gets rid of scar tissue, it restores mobility, and by doing those three things, the joint adjustments, the eccentric contractions, as well as the soft tissue work, we're very often able to get these chronic tendonitis problems or tendonosis to resolve. And again, these things happen in the elbow, the shoulder, they occur in the Achilles tendon, in the back of the heel, the bottom of the foot, the knee, and the hamstring. Those are the most common areas.